finals because the Celtics came out and put that. Yeah, Mark. You know what? It's amazing. Isn't it amazing in sports how one person in their absence can change the entire attitude or makeup of a team?
That's that Draymond getting kicked out, suspended
Like,
that game.
no, so Jimmy goes crazy in game one, drops 41. And like tonight, Marcus Smart just has him in. Dude, it was like, no, you're not getting off tonight. You're
But
not
Jimmy's
dominating.
known for not being able to follow up great nights with another great night.
And I think that's why Chicago eventually let him go because they felt like, and even back then, he wasn't the Jimmy that he is today.
Playoff Jimmy's different.
Yeah. We saw playoff Jimmy when he was playing next to Derrick Rose. I mean, we saw it coming.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it happening.
Yeah, I think the organization was such in a rush to try and win that they couldn't wait. They couldn't wait. And so, you see that. Sometimes I wonder, is Marcus Freeman in a similar position? Like, does the Notre Dame fan base really have enough patience for the program to really become what it's going to become?
I think it's because of the first game.
I know, right?
I think unfortunately, as much as you say it's still a season and all that, a lot of hardened opinions will be formed after the first game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I just think people are going to have either a great taste or a bad taste in their mouth at the outcome of this one.
Well, look, I know a lot of people might have concerns, and it was one of my weaknesses, actually. I just stepped out there and said, yo, it has to be a weakness because we don't know what this coaching staff is going to do when the bullets start going, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the bullets start flying, we just don't know. And because it's an unknown, I'll go ahead and throw it as my third-ranked weakness. But is there one person that you can take away from this team that you would feel like would automatically just change who this team is? A la Draymond, Marcus Smart.
I think if you took Brandon Joseph off of defense, it would feel a little less confident just because of the experience. Cam Hart's playing a position where it only affects the half of the field.
Yeah.
So I do think just missing Brandon Joseph and that experience and how it can trickle down would make me less confident in the solidarity of what I think our defense has right now.
You know what? I think the same effect could be said for, and the reason I say this is because I just don't know what's behind him. If Tyler Buckner gets hurt at this point, I don't know, fam. I'm gonna be flat out honest with you.
I think it would be more of a focus on what we know we're good at, which would be running the football. I think we would win 9 games instead of the 11. But I do think we would be in another transition year, honestly. I think it would be something setting up for a Dante to potentially come in.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you took Will Anderson away from Alabama, you would definitely see a difference. If you took Will Shipley away from Clemson.
I don't know about the Will Anderson. Because we just don't know.
I think they use him so much and so differently, though. He's so devastating. Not to say that they don't have other good players. You would probably say if you take Bryce away, right?
Bryce.
Okay.
Because that we know without Bryce, it wouldn't be much.
Yeah.
It would be just a different style of offense. But with Will Anderson gone, you don't know who they have in the tank because you saw what they did in the championship game bringing out number 15,
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner, and you're like,
Where's he been all year?
I didn't even notice him. I didn't even notice him. So Alabama's a rare team because obviously they're one of the best, where
Right.
they just openly have guys literally reloading the position outside of what we always say as a good mantra.
Yeah. Lefty Podcast, as always, featuring and presented by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's the month of May. Coaches have to be on the road. They have to go to schools and they have to check in. And Notre Dame's coaching staff has been doing it better than anybody. They're all over the place. They're scouring the United States. If they could go across seas, overseas, they would. I'm sure they have someone going to Hawaii with the pipeline that we have coming from Hawaii. So with all of that being said, we're starting to see visits. Media team, with the helicopter video they put out yesterday with the visits with Micah Tees and Pendleton commits, recruits that haven't committed. One's going to be coming up. I have a story that I'm going to be dropping. A very promising story about Charles Jagasaw on tomorrow. Talk with him, talk with his mom, and talk with his coach. And I'll leave it at this. They're all saying the same thing. And it bodes well for Notre Dame. So that drops tomorrow morning. But ultimately, what we're hearing and what we're seeing, the Rashada kid from out there by you, he's going to commit. Ultimately, I think it comes down between Miami and Oregon for him. And if he indeed chooses Oregon, then it may seem like the Dante Moore situation comes down, ironically, to Notre Dame and LSU, which is hilarious, right? And I just honestly don't believe that Dante Moore would ever choose Brian Kelly over.
Yeah, I just think it would
find it hard to believe. You talk to him more than I do, so.
Oh man, you talk about irony. I just think it would be so crazy to just think that would be a better choice than what we have at Notre Dame. I think LSU has more of a fading perspective than we have of a glowing perspective. I think we're more on the rise than what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And and like you said, it's literally coming down to two schools for Dante. As highly touted as he is, he only got two really, really slam dunk choices. And it just would be interesting. I think he would find a home close to South Bend, but I think LSU does present, great prospects in terms of challenging Alabama every year. You're going to get every opportunity you ask for. It's just a different environment.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you guys so much. You make up LL Nation. Anthony Solomon, thank you for tapping in. Thanks for the recruiting and team updates you guys provide to us. Love the show. We love you. We absolutely love you, LL Nation. So, yeah, Gavin Newsom, that's funny. Yeah, find us a damn kicker in Australia.
Straight up.
Real talk. We definitely need to solidify the kicking game in order to get to the next level. But hey, when you think about it, Nick Saban rarely has a kicker that's reliable. I mean, they're just so talented that they can overcome that.
It's just, as much as Jimbo put him out there today,
yeah,
it's hard to deny the results that Saban's been putting out there from just a talent perspective, because you're not worried if a guy gets hurt on the Alabama football team.
Yeah. It's amazing. I see Jay Henry, our guy. Thank you for tapping in. Any word on Mpemba and Downs? Both guys will be visiting in June. And as far as Mpemba, I'll put it like this because it's easy. Yeah, Mpemba and Christian Gray, who also will be visiting June 10th through 12th, are in the same category. kids that fell in love with Notre Dame early on in the process and were advised to not commit early. When did the due diligence, gave people the feeling that they were no longer like high on Notre Dame, only to come back. And when we speak to them to find out that Notre Dame was and always had the same amount of contact and they had the same amount of love. So
Right.
I would say Christian Gray and Samuel Mpemba in the same position. I would consider Downs and Alsbury in similar positions. They love Notre Dame, love the coaching staff. Dude, these kids love Marcus Freeman so much, man.
And that's what's crazy is that Marcus Freeman is selling water to a well in a sea full of NIL prospects.
And I'm talking about kids that have committed to other places. Like
That's
I've
right.
talked to recruits that have committed to other places, and they're like, "Yo, man, I still talk to Marcus Freeman like every week."
No, absolutely. And it's crazy because even just the guys that are committed, you talk about the impact that Notre Dame has had, and Marcus Freeman is really just like Don said yesterday, it's not even about football. Marcus Freeman is doing such a good job talking to these players. He's even spoken over the NIL prospect, just giving these guys the opportunity to just come and want to play for Notre Dame, where it's different.
Yeah.
You know, I got a chance to ask, Don Schuler the difference between Marcus Freeman and Brian Kelly, and a lot of it was just wanting to actually play under Marcus Freeman, buying into what he was saying, buying into just the 2-hour conversation. I think the 2-hour conversation from a head coach of a top 5 program in college football, it carries a lot of weight, even more so than damn near what an NIL could carry. And we're seeing how Marcus Freeman has affected this recruiting class without having to drop a dollar. I think that's so impressive when you're seeing guys who have basically sold out to the point where this is getting them rallied in the media. It's a good opportunity to see Marcus Freeman stay cool, calm, and collected and get his job done at a critical point in college football.
And another incredible job by you on Irish Players Club, as you do each and every week, having a Don Schuler out there on the show last night. What stood out the most about the young man? Because he is very impressive. I saw this dude working out, and I'm like, yo, can he be cut anymore? Like, dude, I feel like if his skin gets any tighter, like, he's gonna end up injuring himself, man. He's in shape and he's raring to go.
That's right. That's right.
So Lucky Lefty Podcast. So you just teased it, man. We might as well talk about it. It's the elephant in the room, right? And Drunk Vigo, thank you for tapping in, my dude. I'll do that. I'll let him know when I talk to him that Drunk Vigo said, "What's up?" So let's talk about it.
Yeah, Joe Vigo.
So during the national championship game press conference prior to it, Nick Saban, threw a salvo across the bow of everyone in college football, letting them know, like, I don't think you really want to go down this road with NIL and the way it's going. Right now, I don't think you want to do that. And, we were up front saying, hey, everybody else might want to relax a little bit, dude, because I don't know how this is going to play out. And you start to see schools like Tennessee get Nico Iamaleava and come out of nowhere. And sure, they have Josh Heupel, who's a very promising offensive mind, solid coach. Hendon Hooker as a quarterback who got so much better under the tutelage of Josh Heupel. I have to
So much better. So much better
so much better than he was at Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and it's an SEC school and it's Tennessee. So it's not like they don't have something to sell to young men. And then you see Texas A&M. And the way they put that class together last year was questionable, not only to Nick Saban, but a lot of different people. And
Yeah, and you love to see that. You know, you love to see just the playing field of the SEC be more balanced, give guys a chance, even if it's
yeah,
happening to be through an NIL deal where you can get more guys that are valuable players to making a change in college football. I have no problem with that. But you know, it always comes down to a guy losing that stronghold where it wasn't competition. Anytime you don't have competition, you get comfortable in being that top dog. But when that gets rattled, you get a sense of insecurity. You know, that's with anything that's when you've been doing it for 10 years. I mean,
yeah.
shit, I can't blame you. It's hard to take. And he's
So
good in it, which is crazy.
it was funny because he spoke with such confidence. Like, I don't think you want to go down this road. Like, I really don't. And he was at a conference meeting, event in Alabama for the World Games and to promote that. And all of a sudden, NIL comes up, and then Nick Saban just goes off on a rant.
And you've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
Come on, Nick. As you see right there, he's sitting next to Nate Oates, Alabama basketball coach. And Alabama's basketball program came out of nowhere from a recruiting standpoint once he took the job. And I'm not saying he's dirty. I'm just saying the program came out of nowhere. They did have some junior college committees.
All I would say is that Alabama doesn't have a professional team. So it has to trickle down somewhere.
Yeah.
Professional sports is carried in Alabama, whether it's a professional team or not. Somebody should treat it as professional sports.
So it's amazing that not only did he say that, but he went on to mention Jackson State head coach Deion Sanders. And he brought up Travis Hunter, which to me was strange. Because it's like your ire is really, dude, you're at Alabama. Your ire is really aimed at Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. And like, you're not alone. Like if he had stayed on that tangent, everybody would have understood, because I think everybody has questioned Texas A&M's recruiting in the last year and a half. Fine. If that's the tangent you're on, go ahead, by all means. When you take the left and you bring up Deion Sanders and you bring up Travis Hunter, who wasn't coming to Alabama anyway.
Oh,
what?
Wasn't even his choices.
Yeah.
It was our choice. You go to Florida State. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. And it's like at this point, with Florida State and that program being in shambles, why wouldn't he go play for Prime?
But did you peep how he said he's a great D1 division player, meaning like he was better than what he went to.
Right.
And he went there because of something other than football.
You know what, bro? I purposely said I wasn't going to delve into that because I didn't really want to make it.
But you caught it though?
Along
I know
those
you
lines.
caught that.
Absolutely. He knew what he was saying.
He said he's a perfectly great D1 player. I don't know why he would basically say, I don't know why he would even go down to Jackson State. Oh, it was because they throwing money down there. It would have had nothing to do with him just wanting to go there.
Yeah.
And what Deion made a great point of, it's just, I mean, you just surprised that we actually can do business with each other.
It's like, you know, and the kid, Travis Hunter, tweets out today, oh, man, I got a meal and my mom still lives in a 3-bedroom apartment with 5 kids.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
I think Deion made a good point, too. He said, once you treat these college kids like professional athletes and you got college players making more than the college coaches, it changes the dynamic in so many ways, especially if these players aren't fireable, technically.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not fireable and they're getting paid more than the coaches, I don't know how you can have a foundationally good team if you're not already established.
Yeah, Guinea Pig Clips, thank you for tapping in. He says Alabama does have the USFL. They do have Birmingham, bro. So
yeah.
Look, and thank you, Ashley, our boy Ashley Hill. Yo, you literally just came from Michael Mayer. You literally just tried to pull Michael Mayer to Alabama. Yeah. Literally. What are you talking about? Like, let's be real, man. Like, let's be real, dude. You're calling Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
In the middle of the season.
This is before you went up there and was like, I don't want to know if y'all want to get this going. I don't know if y'all really want to do this.
And look, Travis Hunter was at the All-American game, right? And he was very honest about what it was.
You can do it anywhere. The players make the school don't make the players. It's time for change. Let's go.
Yo, you can do it anywhere. It's time for change. You can do it anywhere. And it's a lot of young players that I saw their tweets today that are pretty much like, yo, we know what it is. Like, all of these coaches are on the same board. We know it. Now we have a chance because the NCAA has opened things up and name, image, and likeness exists. We're no longer bound and controlled by the NCAA. So now we can make our moves. We have power that we didn't have previously. So now things are changing. And it's kind of like the old dude that's pissing on his lawn because something's up his can. That's what Nick Saban is. He just doesn't like the way things change. This is why I respect Roy Williams so much, bro. Roy Williams, when he was at North Carolina and he finally retired, Roy Williams came out and said, look, the game has changed, and I don't think I fit in today's game, so it's time for me to move on.
And that's fair.
And he moved on, and Hubert Davis took that team to the championship game.
With a team intact.
Yes.
Not a rebuilding year.
No.
They've been terrible for 7 years straight. No. It was a team that was still had life in it.
Yes.
You need a fresh coach to beat some more blood in there, and they got it done. So Roy Williams,
because a coach said, I know the game has passed me by.
He said, I can walk away. It's not
if I stay
and throwing money.
Yes. And he knew if he stayed, he would be the bitter, angry old man. He knew it.
Because he'd been doing it too long.
Yeah.
You know, he was damn near around when the dream team was around coaching.
And unfortunately, it may be that Nick Saban might be seeing the writing on the wall. He might start becoming the old bitter dude that's like, you know what?
But is he? Because he's doing all the new age stuff on time.
Yeah, but hurry up offense. He's doing the new age stuff. But you know what? I think Nick got comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Because the brand recruits now, right? They only go after 40 to 45 kids in comparison to everybody else going after hundreds.
That's it.
They go after 40 to 45 kids and sign half of those kids.
Every
right?
time.
And they can focus all their time on those kids. Right? So you hear all about how Nick Saban is constantly the head recruiter and how he's such a great recruiter. He's only focusing on a small percentage of kids. And that's where all of his energy and the 80-member staff he has for recruiting at Alabama, that's all they do is recruit those elite kids. If those elite kids start going to other schools, now he has to work harder. Now he has to change the way he's been doing things in the building that he's gotten used to. And that is something that he's probably afraid of. He's probably afraid to change because he can't control things now. Now he controls everything.
You can't. It'd be just. I think he's reoccurring the nightmares of Miami.
Yeah,
where now guys are getting paid. You can't just be telling dudes do this and shut the heck up.
Or else.
Yeah, right. Or else. It's like I'm already paid. I leave, transfer. I could just chill and sit on my money, whatever the. The option that they may have. So
right.
I think Saban is just like the control of how he ran his program for so long and everybody in the building thinking the same way. You just can't do that with all these resources being available.
Yeah. Shout out to our guy Op Dragon 19. Malik hit it on the head. When incoming freshmen make more than their position coach, why would they listen if they don't like what they're being told? And look,
Yeah, they're gonna start
go ahead.
thinking they can have say, this TV is very influential. These kids are still impressionable, as you can tell by how Odell affected the culture and how they're seeing these free agents saying they should have say in what the team is doing.
Mhm.
This is definitely being trickled down to the college level. If Nico Immavallita is getting paid $8 million, I'm sure he's going to have some kind of courage to be like, hey, I don't want that recruit.
I hope not.
I hope not, but you can only imagine what that type of leverage. I mean, $8 million is more than everybody but the head coach at that point. Even at the school, we ain't even talking football team. We talking about at the school alone in the state of Tennessee. He's probably getting paid right under the top dogs themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that. Lefty Podcast. This is a position, and remember when Jack Swarbrick was the first AD to really jump out there and speak on things before it even became legislation. And he let everybody know, we're going to take a step back and watch how things play out before we just jump into the lake, this NIL ocean, full steam ahead. The way things are going now, that's becoming advantageous to Notre Dame because we're right. Man, let them destroy themselves. Let them fight amongst themselves. We'll be back here recruiting the number one class. You all go ahead and fight.
That's right. We slowly sneaking up and gonna be the number one class with no money spent. And a lot of people gonna be upset because now what is Nick Saban's whole reason for being up there talking stuff? We just proved we can do it without it and bring a better class than what you're sinking into the bottom half of the top 10 every year now. Yeah. Just because you're being reluctant to do what Jimbo Fisher is denying he's doing all the time.
So, look, good question, Anthony Solomon. He says, man, it's not coming up, but Anthony Solomon said in the chat, what has Ryan Day done to deserve there it is. What has he done to deserve $9.5 million per year?
Oh, that's easy. Been able to micromanage an inherited team that had a lot of steam behind it and not be too in front of it or too calm in the situation. He's played his cards right in a division where what did you really have to go against? At that time, Ohio State's talent was outranking any coaching staff in the Big Ten. So it was just a matter of playing manager. And, now it's coming to a point where, those recruits are thinning out and it's coming out to now you have to be the lead recruiter and bring in, you're not Urban Meyer. So the type of recruits that he was having and what ended up leaving out, now it's Ryan Day's guys coming in, and that's automatically going to be different. Them being able to bring in a Big 12 defensive coordinator already tells me we have an advantage because how much courage can you really have in a Big 12 D coordinator, even if he was the coach of the year defensively, because it's the Big 12. I mean, how much defense do you really get in there anyway? So I do think that we have a lot of advantages going into this game, and Ryan Day has a lot to prove because he has a little bit of the Steve Kerr effect to where when that stuff starts to shine off a little bit, you have to start coaching. What are you really made of? And I think our staff is more Ohio State than Ohio State. So I really think we have a psychological edge over this team. Which I think proves to be better for us. I mean, if we have a psychological edge over this team, and on the top of the fact that we're out recruiting a team like this, I think it just gives us so much benefit because now it's like, what's the true advantage to what Ohio State's coming with? We got their edge with Marcus Freeman's knowledge from Jim Tressel and the physicality and what it's like to be Ohio State tough in a sense. He's making it his own at Notre Dame, so we don't have an intimidation factor playing into effect. What else do you got? You have a whole new defensive coordinator, so it's going to take a little bit longer than a fall camp to get adjusted to what you're bringing, even if you have talent, because I do think at this point we have more talented guys than Ohio State doesn't have backhand that you can be confident in going into this game. Are we going to shut CJ and Jackson Jigba and Rodney Harrison Jr.? Probably not.
Marvin Harrison Jr., yeah.
But we can limit them to what less than what Utah did. We can limit them to where they would have to do a little bit more if they want to come out with a victory against us.
Heck, we can do what Utah did, which is punish them. Just be physical with them. Jump out.
That's right.
And now force CJ Stroud into mistakes. They come out in the second half behind 14, 17 points and they constantly have to put the ball up, passing it. Oh, it's a wrap. I feel very confident saying, like, we're winning that game if they have to come out and just throw the ball.
Yeah, CJ's not going to be sitting in the pocket all clean.
No.
We're definitely going to have him running around, and he's not the most athletic guy in the world. So I do think that gives us, like I said, a chance. We have Isaiah Fauski. He had 14 sacks last year, and I think he's going to improve upon that, at least keep at that same level. And that's going to have to affect that offensive line at Ohio State at some point.
Facts. William Chesney, thank you for the super chat. While Jimbo and Saban are riding the petty train, CMF is jumping on that jet and taking all the recruits and right under their noses. I like it. Did you see what Deion said as well? He said, man, you all have to see what Nick Saban is doing. Like, Nick Saban doesn't care about Jimbo Fisher. He was sending a message to all of the donors that were there. Like, yo, I need your money. Like, this is the war that's going on. You need to up your money. We need you to give more. And he did it slick. He did it. That was a very keen observation by Deion Sanders. Like, you have to understand how Nick Saban thinks and what he was really trying to get across. Like, he doesn't care about Jackson State. He really doesn't care about Texas A&M. What he's doing is trying to
cross the point.
Yeah.
You see what they doing.
Right.
How we going to keep up? Pretty much.
Right.
How we going to come up with this bread? Pretty much. They just gave a guy $1 million.
Yeah.
So.
This was Nick Saban right here, man. You remember this? Do you remember this? This is Nick Saban.
I'm not guilty.
He had his Nino Brown moment, dude.
Oh, yeah.
This is bigger than Nino Brown.
It's bigger than me. I'm
calling out Deion. I'm calling out Jimbo. Like, don't look at me.
I just play the game, man.
Right. Because I'm about to start cashing my checks. I haven't started yet. So
I haven't gotten into it yet.
Before I start cashing my checks.
And Jimbo really messed up being green, talking about, let's start opening up investigations. But you wouldn't get all that stuff for it.
He went clean in.
Last night in Alabama?
Yes, I would. First of all, I'll say it's a shame that we have to do this. It's really despicable. It's despicable that somebody can say things about somebody and an organization. More importantly, 17-year-old kids. You're taking shots at 17-year-old kids and their families. That they broke state laws. They're all money. We bought every player on this group. We never bought anybody. No rules were broken. Nothing was done wrong. It was all in the way we do things, the ethics in which we do things. And these families, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families in Texas A&M because we do things right. We're always going to do things right. But we're always going to be here. We're doing a heck of a job. These coaches have done a great job. Our players have done a great job. The whole organization of recruiting people. It's despicable that we got to sit here at this level of ball and say these things to defend the people of this organization, the kids, 17-year-old kids and their families. It's amazing. Some people think they're God. Go dig into how God did his deal. You may find out about a guy that a lot of things you don't want to know. We built him up to be the czar of football. Go dig into his past or anybody that's ever coached with him. You can find out anything you want to find out, what he does and how he does it. And it's despicable. It really is. And it's a shame we have to sit up here and have this conversation about things we do. And it's personal to us? Yes, it is. It's personal to A&M. It's personal to our players. It's personal to our coaches and everybody involved. And I know the guy. Know him really well. It's amazing that we're allowed to do those things. It's really despicable. And I hate it. For our players who are coming here, who did things the right way, have done things the right way, and will continue to do things the right way, I apologize to you that people insult you publicly the way they're doing it. And our fans, I apologize to you guys for people saying those things about Texas A&M. I promise you this, there are no violations. There are nothing wrong. It's the second time we've had to do this with grown men who don't get their way and want to pout, throw a fit, and act up. Just go ask all the people who work for him. You'll know exactly what he's about. I always said this. My dad always told me this. When people show you who they are, believe them. He's showing you who he is.
Questions? To the left, Olin.
A couple of things, Jimbo. First of all, have you had any contact with Nick since?
No. Oh, he's called.
You just didn't take the call?
Not going to. We're done.
Yo, there's so much to this, bro. First of all, Jimbo, there's some skeletons still in Tallahassee, bro. Like, stop playing. Stop playing like you're like pure. Stop. There's still some skeletons about the way you did things in Tallahassee before you voted for College Station in Texas A&M. That's number one.
He only went so hard because he Saban hit the right buttons.
So this holier than thou, like, man, I know my grandfather probably told you. Your grandfather probably told you. My grandfather told me. You throw a rock in a pack of dogs, the one that barks is the one that you hit.
That's right. And Saban hit a dude. Wasn't even trying.
Hit him. Saban threw a rock and got a response, and the response is just as revealing about Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, that's what he was telling on himself the whole. I don't know if anybody else peeped it. I just felt like he was just projecting everything that he was doing without saying it about Saban in his response.
And he's talking about, like, dude, what are you talking? The SEC is the bad conference, bro. That is the duffel. That's the DBC. Like, that is the other name of the SEC. DBC, Duffel Bag Conference. Flat out. Plenty of money has been thrown around in the SEC for years. For years. So what is he talking about? And then he's talking like, man, you're disrespecting parents. Man, parents want the duffel bag. What are you talking about? Stop. Go ask your average parent of a kid in the South would they take the duffel bag.
Because most of them are first generation college football players.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to start with you, bro. Start with you. See, I don't have a son. You have a son that's going to be a future quarterback. He's probably a lefty just like you. Okay? I don't want people to be able to use this in the future as a violation. So I'm going to say it the right way. When people come with their presentations, they better come correct.
That's right. Oh,
there we go. You heard it here first. Like, man, let's stop acting like the duffel bag. Any other
because what are you getting if it's not? Nothing. You getting nothing. What are you getting if it's not? What are you getting if it's not an offer with a nice lump sum? Absolutely nothing. So I don't get the whole. Nobody talks about the actual other side. If you don't take it, what are you going to? You're committing to something that, you know, we as Notre Dame, I don't think we've given $1.
Yeah.
But there's value in other places.
Yeah. Like Matt D said, Jimbo left FSU a hot mess. Like a flat out hot mess. And like for him to talk like that doesn't exist. Like he doesn't have skeleton bones in his closet. He's trying to point out Nick Saban's skeleton bones.
Come on, look him up.
He doesn't have skeleton bones.
You do the research.
You know, come on, man. Let's be real. How did you get Jameis Winston, Jimbo?
How? Out of
How?
Alabama. Out of Hueytown, Alabama.
How did you get him to come to Florida State? How?
Out of Hueytown, Alabama.
That's why I respect Cam Newton's father, because he was real with it.
Oh, yeah, he took the bread.
He took it like, yeah, I want
he
the
did
bread.
what you said. He said, I want every shoe out of Mississippi State. And I think about it. I ain't gonna commit though. That's the starting point. Took the bread, went to Auburn. Said it was just the intro.
It was real with it.
It was real. And got caught and everything, and just like, what? We're gonna win a championship behind it.
Right. I mean, look. Yo, I just don't understand how people think the way things have gone and the way things are going, that it covers up or eliminates what has been taking place for years. Things have just evolved. It's like people aren't smoking more marijuana because it's legal, bro. You know what I mean? Like, cats have been smoking doobies for a long time, like before we got here. Like all of a sudden it just opened up because it's legal. No. All of a sudden money's flowing to athletes just because. No. And I think we disagree on this. Using that to lure young men from high school to choose your school, I think is a dangerous path. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, but I still say that's dangerous to use that type of enticement when kids should really be going where they feel comfortable with coaches, program, and living in a place for 3 years. But
why if you can transfer?
Say it again.
But why if you can transfer?
Well, the transfer portal changes everything, right? But then it's the transfer portal, something that's beneficial, right? That's something you have to think about. Do you really want to be a program moving forward that builds your program strictly on the transfer portal, right? Like, dude, USC is sinking sand to me, right? They got Mario Williams. They got Jordan Addison, who committed today. Wow. Big news. Like, we didn't know that was going to happen. That whole Texas being in the top 2. It's like, dude, stop lying. No offensive line, no defensive line. They did just get a linebacker to transfer in. That's pretty good from Arizona State. Caleb Williams might be hurt by the 5th game, bro.
Yeah, I think it's just it's like we know that they're gonna get the Hollywood type of players.
Yeah.
But we also know that they don't get the foundation players that make them great teams through 11, 12 games.
October 8th, man. It's gonna be and Texas A&M has to come to Bryant Denny Stadium. It's gonna be rockets, boy.
It's gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be rockets. I got Will Anderson for like 4 sacks that game, bro.
Really?
I think he's gonna go off.
Yeah, I don't know any major Texas A&M players right now. I don't know any.
I think he's going to go off that game. Absolutely. I think he's going off. It's just my opinion, man. So we talked about this. Number 1 class, staying above the fray. Doing things, allowing the alumni, other endowments, other opportunities to come organically through the school to the players that are on the roster. Has absolutely nothing. And then the dudes that are in the 23 class that are focused on that NIL, man, if you want to go somewhere else, by all means, go.
Yeah.
Go. That's cool. Go. We'll see you in the college football playoff, maybe, if you get there. But go. I love the way Jack Swarbrick came out long before everything hit the fan, established what Notre Dame is going to do, and Marcus Freeman came in and established who he was going to be as a recruiter when he became the defensive coordinator. He established it then. Like, this is what I'm on. This is what I'm on. I'm changing the game as the DC. So when he becomes the head coach, that just magnifies, right? It's like the same thing. The person that you are, you know, when you get money, the money only magnifies who you already are. Him getting that job as the head coach at Notre Dame only further magnified who he already was as a person and as a recruiter. And that just bodes well for Notre Dame in the midst of all of these shots going back and forth from Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, and anybody else that wants to get into the fray. Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman, and Jack Swarbrick, they'll stay above it.
And that's why they can't call out Notre Dame when they're doing these rants. They're not pointing out Notre Dame as an example of guys getting elite talent by using NIL. They're using the guys that they know are doing the same thing they're doing. So I think it just makes a point that there's, like I said in the way beginning, like Georgia fast food process. There's a lot of fast food processes that are happening in recruiting, whereas they're getting home-cooked meals over at Notre Dame, and Marcus Freeman is leading that.
William Chesney, thank you for the question. Malik and Shaun, what's the noise in the running back room? Thought we were going with Cedric, Irvin Jr., and Jaden Lamar. Now Love, Jeremiah Love, and Richard Young are official visits. I think Love is a real stud, unbelievably underrated. Well, Richard Young is not underrated. I promise you. He's not underrated. Everybody knows about Richard Young.
Yeah.
We talked about this. We've talked about this several times. Like, Notre Dame doesn't need 5-star running backs to have a great running attack because they've always had dominant offensive lines. But, man, if you finally put a 5-star behind that offensive line, now.
I mean, we're turning 3 stars into 2,000-yard carriers.
Dude, Richard Young is so unbelievably talented, bro. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And from what we heard from Coach Carl Reed, who coached in the same division as Jeremiah Love the last 2 years before, leaving coaching, that dude is like an elite talent with like unbelievable speed.
Unbelievable.
Like, his speed is bananas. So what you see, honestly, with all of the attention that Al Golden, Al Washington, and Chancey Stuckey have gotten, now you're seeing Dylan McCullough step his game up. Like, I can get big dogs on campus too.
That's right.
Now and that's when iron sharpens iron. Like, on that coaching staff. Like, when you see other guys doing it big, Dylan McCullough was like, no, I'm not going to settle with Cedric Irvin Jr., which is a guy that he really didn't recruit.
Didn't recruit him for real.
Didn't recruit Jaden Lamar, or somebody that they actually got on before he really took hold of everything. So now he's going out and showing I can get 5 stars to come in.
That's right.
And I think the last 5-star, if I'm not mistaken, is your boy GB. Rest in peace.
That's 5-star running back, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of been just in the weeds. Our whole line was just been the savior in those situations.
Oh, well, Will, I'm sorry about that for the misunderstanding. Jeremiah Love was underrated, but once you saw Alabama, it's so amazing, man. Marcus Freeman and this staff are really leading the way, bro. Because the last 2 months, I've seen offers go out to players, and all of a sudden, here comes Oregon, here comes Miami, here comes Alabama after Notre Dame's offer. And that's a far departure from what we've seen because Notre Dame was always coming in the second wave.
That's right.
Now this staff, they're identifying guys and they're making offers and jumping on them. And then guys that are committed or that they haven't been on, they're not scared to get on them and get them on campus as well. June is going to be an absolute monster of a month in recruiting for Notre Dame. All of the official visits they have coming in, all 4 weekends, spanning the entire month. I'm telling you, man, that's going to bleed over into July. We still have a couple of commits that I think that will go Notre Dame's way in the month of May. You go into June. I think they're going to get 2 to 3 commits during June on some of the visits. They might be silenced and they might not become official until a little bit later. I think that's going to happen. And then we have the 2 decisions coming up on the 4th of July and 1 the day before, July the 3rd. So
the summer's going to be heating up for sure. And I do think this is a good opportunity to just seal the deal. I mean, we've been doing a lot of talking towards the build up, but now it's getting closer to that first game and you want to tie the loose ends and really build the class that you've been waiting for.
Yeah. Mike Nolan, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate you. Matt D, thank you for the super chat. Imagine Richard Young behind a he stand line. Yeah. It's, man, it would be fun to watch.
Most definitely.
To watch. Heck, Matt D, June the 10th through the 12th, if you really look at the list, that's a heck of a weekend as well. So, thank you, Charlie Weiss, last belt loop. What's up, my friend? Haven't seen you in a while. Good time to be a fighting Irish fan. Absolutely. Thank you for the super chat.
The last belt loop.
Last belt loop. Hanging on by a thread. Let's see, man. Yeah, this is funny. You know what? You're right. He probably will drop in the ratings if he commits to Notre Dame. That's the way it is, man. That's the way it is. Doesn't matter. Get the talent, coach them up, and dominate.
When you develop, it don't matter. I'm telling you.
No. And the way it's going now, I think that they want to sign 25, and that's why they can go after 2 more running backs.
Really?
So, because of the transfer portal, man. Like Marcus Freeman is being very honest about the way things are. And he's saying, look, we're not going to stop going after the best just because we like our guys.
Right.
This is competition, man. And by all means, if you feel like you need to go somewhere else to get exposure, by all means, do that. If you're going to be here, you're going to have to compete.
That's right.
We're going to bring in another batch of great players. Don't get comfortable.
Because the transfer portal is open.
Yeah, it's open. It's a new day. And they know that. And they fully support guys that think they need to go find. I don't think anybody's going to leave Notre Dame under the guise of, I don't like the school, better fit. Most guys want to hang on, graduate, get that degree, and then matriculate for football reasons and other opportunities to try and get to the NFL or to get playing time and get film on themselves. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It just has to be understood that everybody's on their own term of enjoying the platform. I think the platform has expanded for more resources to be in play, and those resources being distributed how they're being distributed shouldn't be hated on.
Yep. Terry Brunk, new name. Thank you for tapping in. Let's see. Indy fans are fooling themselves thinking just D coordinator is going to continue with where Kelly left off. Recruits will run after season starts. Trying to figure out when was the last great class. Like Brian Kelly wasn't a great recruiter, dude.
No, he was a great hire of talent to coach the team.
Yeah, I don't understand his point. I guess his point is to continue what like Brian Kelly did. What he didn't win anything.
Yeah,
And this is Notre Dame. Ultimately, you won national championships. Brian Kelly didn't do that.
no.
So in the grand scheme of things, he leads the all-time winningest coach, but he didn't win. He's just like all of the other coaches that aren't Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and Kirby Smart during his tenure. And Urban Meyer. He didn't win.
Didn't win, yeah.
He didn't win. And so if Marcus Freeman doesn't win, he'll be in the exact same boat as Brian Kelly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You don't have a lot of room to mess up, man. It's like you got to win these crucial 3 or 4 games every season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like when your legacy is made in the playoffs, you got to win those games that are not on schedule, usually on a Notre Dame schedule and for the season. You do that, that's when you get those statues, the recognition, and the playoff credit. You need to go win it all.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, another. Matt D, thank you. How many 5 stars do we close with in 2023?
I think we get 5 or 6. What do you think?
Wow. Okay.
I think that's a good number. What do you think?
The politics of it. Guys are committing, all of a sudden they'll become a 4-star. It happens all the time. Heck, before he committed, Drake Bowen was a 5-star. Then all of a sudden he starts dropping. I'll say 3. I think Dante will be 1 eventually. I think, heck, Jagasol was a composite 5-star, and all of a sudden I'm seeing him called a 4-star. So I don't know where that came into play.
Maybe some bad writers. Some writers had some stuff against him or something.
Yeah. But I see guys talking about Greathouse, Gallagher, and I think we get 2 of the remaining 3 wide receivers that have an opportunity to commit to Notre Dame. I think Hannafin as well.
Yeah.
Rico, in my opinion, I think Rico is leaning towards Ohio State, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. But, seeing 3 first rounders or 3 top 3 rounders go in the draft.
Yeah.
Hard not to be an attractive quality.
Yeah. And if Gallagher wants to go to, I saw, news about Gallagher loving West Virginia. Like I tell kids, man, if that's where you want to go, I'm all for kids going where they feel like they fit.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Man, if you pay attention, like Matt did, if you pay attention.
Okay. I think he froze. Oh, okay. Well, we on here. I think our guy Shaun froze SD2 mics, but picking up on it, I do think it is crazy when you're getting an opportunity to have a guy like Flores see the class that what we're in, because I think we're forgetting that we're only taking 25, and we're going to be by the end of, I think, before fall camp, be around 19 or 20. So things are going to fill up fast where guys got to be able to now make a decision a little bit faster. We passed that halfway point. Marcus Freeman is still making visits, but it's going to be crucial to know how the numbers are going to dwindle, because taking 25 a year some guys might not make it. And you got to consider this year, one of the spots is being reserved because even though we have offered other quarterbacks, we are waiting for the commitment of one quarterback before we decide to look elsewhere and potentially go somewhere else. So I think it's important that what we're doing is going to get it done. It's going to get it done. It's going to get done. See who else we can talk to. Let's get some fans. Let's see if I can control some of the comments in here. I'm not crazy about Archie Manning that much either, only because it's like kids like that with the name. I mean, he has such a prominent name that he's riding behind. Sometimes people just give him the benefit of the doubt and think he's all level, all world. I do think he has a lot of talent. Athletically, he's no different than Peyton and Eli. I do think on the college level, I would like to see him work against a tougher, defensive line, tougher front seven, get him to move around the pocket. I know he can make some plays here and there. He can even run a little bit, but at the next level, you need so much more escapability within the pocket to make plays down the field. You can be an artist and drop back deep and do those type of deals, but it's just staying in the pocket is giving you most protection in the middle as opposed to putting strain on those left-right tackles, which Ronnie taught me a lot about.
Well, man, sorry I had to drop off for a second. Lefty Podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for your continued prayers concerning my dad, man. Everything is trending in a much better direction. He was able to come home today, and he's going to do his rehab at home. And I'm happy about that. Happy about that. So thank you guys for reaching out and for your prayers and your thoughts. Shaun Michael, thank you for tapping in. Hey guys, hope all is well. Was just curious what you guys think the odds of ND landing Christian Gray are. Really good.
Yeah, I think like we were saying earlier, the class is filling up. We're only taking 25, so by the time of start of spring, maybe after the fall camp, I do think we're going to have guys that are committed and getting closer to that 20 range. And then it's just going to be a matter of how fast can I commit because we're not taking everybody.
Yeah, you can't. And it's starting to get to a point where guys now have to think about, I wanted to hold out until the fall. I wanted to hold out until August to make a decision. But now spots are filling up at certain positions.
Mm.
And I might have to make a decision a little bit earlier than I thought. I mean, that's a reality.
It's a reality.
That's a reality. You have, we've named all the receivers, and we have not mentioned Malik Elzy.
We haven't.
Who is a take. Like, if he says, I want to come, they're going to take him.
They're going to take him.
So, you have other people that want to sit and wait. All right, you miss out. You miss out because things have changed. The brand is stronger than it's ever been, especially on the recruiting trail. And kids want to play.
They want to play.
They want to play for Notre Dame, and they want to play for Marcus Freeman.
That's right.
They absolutely want to play for Marcus Freeman. Let's see if there's anything else we can get to. Sid Iris said he would take Elzy. He's a beast, man. He's a beast.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's that big physical receiver.
Oh, yeah.
And he has the mentality to go with it. He's not like a big puppy that doesn't know he's a big dog. Like, he's a big dog that wants to be a big dog and knows he's a big dog. And so he's going to compete. He's going to compete. You got Tobias Merriweather coming in. I mean, this kid is running like similar times as Braden Lindsay when he was coming out of high school.
I seen that. Yeah, it's
crazy. It's crazy.
But that goes back to Marcus Freeman is recruiting two-way players.
Yeah.
He's no longer recruiting a specialist at one position. You got to play a couple things at this point because it's going to have to be figured out and how you're going to play. Yeah. I'm sure he's looking at the roster right now being like, man, a lot of these guys can play both ways. What combination can we use to get the best out of all of them? But it also goes to who's getting the proper technique. I think when you have so many guys playing both sides, you're going to have a lapse in technique from all the receivers that can make plays for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what time it is.
Petticoat. Petticoat Junction.
It's time to get petty.
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
And fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's pettiest story? Petty Junction.
Right. Petty Junction each and every day. Pettiest story of the day right here, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. I want to go out to the Bay. Oh, man. We got to put our guy, Charles Barkley, on the petty train, man. He has beef in San Antonio with the women in San Antonio. He has beef down in Orlando. Now he has beef out in the Bay with Golden State fans. And, bro, I don't get it.
Hey, don't leave me alone. Don't come to your house and fuck your mama.
What? What? Leave me alone or I'm going to come to your house and F your mama?
Yeah, I think it's because he's taking his frustration out from him not talking crazy to Shaq. Because Shaq be talking too crazy too.
Oh, man.
Cool. But I mean, you know, when you really in TV and you doing that and you trying to take it serious and you got people chirping and saying, trying to be funny, saying jokes and stuff, you like, man, cut it out, man.
That was wild. That was really wild. That was wild. Of course, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, they both, man, round trip tickets on the petty train. Like, throw both of them on there. Both. Like, they might stay there for the rest of the season, dude. I might hold them hostage on the petty train. But
you might have to. You might have to.
Because this foolishness, man, it's like, yo, what are we really doing?
Yeah, what are we really doing? That's crazy.
Yeah, Joe Long, thank you for tapping in. Said the guy I'm most worried about is Reeves. I think he's talking about in recruiting. Hey, look, I give Tommy a lot of credit, man. He's held a lot of relationships intact until that staff was established.
Until the staff established, yeah.
He kept Notre Dame in the picture until the rest of the coaching staff was established. Jay Chillin. I'm sorry, man. Micah Tees, he's coming in for an official visit from the same high school out in Oklahoma as Unc and his brother. So, you know, as the Brooks brothers. So we'll see. We will see. It's hard to get a kid out of Oklahoma.
It is because that's
cool.
That's not the hotbed you would think of as college football players.
So it's a task. That's the way I see it. Like, if Notre Dame wants him, Mike Mickens is going to have to put on his big boy boots. And yes, I agree with you, Matt D and Sid Irish. I think Jason Moore is absolutely on the verge of eventually committing to Notre Dame.
Listen, all these commits to Notre Dame getting to this point, and it's early in the class. I think Marcus Freeman deserves a standing round of ovation, of applause, because I haven't seen a new head coach come into such a volatile situation and come out in recruiting without skipping a beat and even getting better on what was a solid, top 10 class every year. So I think it's important that if he can put that much effort into recruiting on a first name basis, then we know we can trust him going into a tense game. At least we can feel more ready for it than coming out flat.
Yeah. Derek wants to know, why did you brick off the piano room, bro?
So the piano is getting reconstructed. So as you can tell, we got the reconstruction wall. We got to build up the new grand piano. Got to move it closer.
Yeah, our boy Donnie Cruz up there in New York. Shout out to your Knicks, man. That lottery pick you got. It sucks.
They waste picks.
I love messing with Donnie, man. He's a big Duke fan, too. So he's mad at North Carolina. Mad because his Knicks stink.
What you doing? What you doing with Julius Randle?
I see the question, man. Caleb Downs is not slow. I'll say that.
What you doing with
Donnie?
What you doing with Caleb?
I hope you're talking about Duke when you make that statement. I know you're not talking about the Knicks.
What are you doing with Julius Randle? You pay him the max?
No, man, you can't. You can't. It's the same situation with the Bulls and Zach LaVine. Like, this dude has too bad.
The Bulls might do it though, because they ain't had no max player in a while.
Yeah, but you have to realize Arturas Karnisovas and Mark Eversley, that's not their guy. They inherited Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see how things play out. Donnie Cruz, he said trade Randall, and he's praying for the Knicks every night. Oh, man. Look, I'm blessed. I have 6 championships in my lifetime as a Bulls fan. I'm good.
Whoa.
I'm good. I don't even care. I'm playing with house money now as a Bulls fan.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even care. I don't care if they win another championship.
Accomplishments or what? What have you done for me lately or what?
No, I don't care. I have 6 championships as a Bulls fan. I'm good. How many do you have as a Cavs fan? How many you got?
We
just
got
one. Exactly.
Probably need because we get the greatest one in NBA history.
Oh, that's fine. The fact remains you have 1 that he gave you, and I have 6 that my greatest man gave me. That's all I'm saying.
And you're 6 added to our 1.
That's all I'm saying. I have 6.
That's fair.
That's all. And after this year, he'll have the same amount of championships as Steph Curry when it's all said and done.
We can break it up into pieces for all of us to get. Don't worry.
Oh, that's what's up. John Holtz, go Pistons. You guys got a great pick. You add to the young talent you already have. I don't know what you're going to do with Grant and whether or not you bring him back. I love Cade Cunningham, the way he came on. He was first team, all rookie. My guy Ayo Dosunmu out of Illinois got second team. So, yeah, you should feel good as a Pistons fan. Future can be bright.
Things are moving on up. Dolan done got right.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. And now we're back to mornings. So we'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Another episode of the Lefty Podcast. Thank you for staying up late with us. We had 100 up to like 150 people at one time.
That's right.
You chose us. You could have been watching playoff hockey, or you could have been watching the Eastern Conference Finals between the Celtics and Miami, which another blowout. A blowout in game 1, you get a blowout in game 2. So we'll see how this series plays out as they go back to Boston. For my man, the original Lucky Lefty himself, Malik Zaire, I'm Shaun Davis at SD2 Mics. As always, spin it different today. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Central.